Alaikum. Welcome to another video of mine. Um, in this video, I just really wanted to talk about as to how following the principles and the teaching of my own religion, which is Islam, sort of saved me. And by saved me, all I'm trying to say is that uh, before, I was born Muslim, but actually following it was a struggle from the very beginning. I must say. So, even though I was Muslim, it's not like I was the only consistent prayer I had was the Friday prayer. And as Muslims, I believe you all know that in Islam, the only difference between a Muslim and a non-Muslim is considered to be a difference of actually prayer. So, like, I did realize that it is a big sin, but I sort of prioritized other aspects of life more than that. And so, even though I was Muslim, I was just a Muslim I just had the title of being a Muslim, even though I wasn't really practicing my religion. So, I've now been praying consistently for the past 1 year. I'm praying 5 times a day, not skipping any prayer. I pray even when I'm at work, when I'm at home. And I really just wanted to talk about as to how that has changed my life, what positive impacts, what positive sort of impact, the kind of positive impact it has had on my life. And just how it saved me. And by saved me, again, all I mean is because I wasn't following Islam properly before. I wasn't really in the best of place, both mentally or financially. See, I sort of prioritize being mentally happy. If you're mentally satisfied with your position, then even if you, let's say, have less money, but you're obviously trying your best to obviously get yourself in the best position possible, you will still be much more happy than a person who, let's say, doesn't have that sort of mental satisfaction but has all the money in the entire world. So I believe feeding your soul more than your body is important, and your soul craves you worshipping Allah, or as you could say, your soul basically craves that peace that you sort of get once you obviously perform your prayers. Now, I can understand in today's world, and for someone who's living in a non-Muslim country just like myself, it isn't the best of things. Like, following your religion isn't the easiest of things to actually do. But then again, it is one of the tests given by Allah to yourself. I believe that's how we should look at it. And in Islam, basically the saying goes as something like, God only gives you the sort of tests or the tests or let's say hardships. God gives you tests and hardships in accordance in regards to, in only the proportion that a person could bear. I believe would be the right way to put it as. Because if you think about, like, the only reason why suicide is haram in our religion, because again, there's a person doesn't get more hardships than they could actually bear. So that basically applies to every aspect of your life as well. So even though, like, me at work, I work at the place that I work at, it isn't filled with Muslim people. Like, most of the people that I'm friends with, or basically I know, are like non-Muslims. But whenever I have to pray, they've always sort of treated that aspect of my life with respect. And as I mentioned, my Friday prayers, they do allow me to go to the mosque nearby. They give me almost like 45 minutes to just go to the mosque, do my prayers, and then come back to work, which then again, even if, let's say, you're going to work at the Muslim's place, even they don't like give you that sort of freedom or that sort of perk, if I could put it that way. And my sort of like my manager also said if I need time to do like my other prayers, she could arrange that for me. But then again, that's they want to do that for you because they respect your religion, even though they are not Muslim, which again is like mind blowing in my opinion, because most of the Muslims that I know, or let's say if you know a Muslim, it's very rare that they would give you the same sort of freedom or leniency, as you could say it that way as well. But then obviously my answer was no, I'd rather play in my own break, because whatever prayer I do would be for me, and it's not a burden. It shouldn't be like, it's not for somebody else, like it's not forced upon us. So for that very reason, obviously I do my other 5 prayers in my own time. Like if I'm at work and it happens, I'll do it during my break. And even though for my Friday prayers, I've told them if I could just get all of my breaks during that time, just so I don't take any additional time. But they were really kind enough to obviously give me the separate time for that. So again, I'm really thankful for them. So even though I do understand people believe that being Muslim in a non-Muslim world is hard, but I'm giving you a live example, like an example that basically relates to myself, as to how even though they won't be following the same religion, they will do whatever they can, obviously out of respect. And it's not just me, like I'm not thinking whatever I do isn't something special. Even if, let's say, it was somebody else with like a different religion to mine, and they went out there to obviously tell them to give them times for their prayer, I believe they would have obviously make that arrangement as well. So what I really want to talk about now is obviously how it saved me, that aspect of it. I know I've been on a rant talking about how I get time to obviously pray, but I believe it was important to mention because they are really amazing in that aspect. But it's okay. So now, as I mentioned, it's been a year since I've been properly doing all of my prayers and trying to delve more and more into Islam. In my opinion, there are like sort of 3 stages of becoming like a proper Muslim, like a proper following Muslim. See, the first step is to actually find peace and comfort and love into your religion. Now, the biggest sort of influence, the biggest sort of personality that influenced me in order to like obviously get to that stage 1 was I would say Mufti Menk. Mufti Menk. Now, I had the golden chance to meet him in person as well. I mean, it's not like I met him like personally, but he came to Bolton to obviously do a khutbah, which I went to obviously listen to, which was amazing. So his lectures, his talks did make me really attached to Islam in a very loving way, because I thought that with all the things I've done in the past, God would not forgive me, or I have to sort of like struggle throughout my life to obviously get that sort of forgiveness. But obviously the message is that God is Allah is extremely merciful, and he's very Rahim, Ar-Rahman. So whatever we do, if we sort of like ask for forgiveness with an honest heart, you get forgiven instantly. That's the message that I've got from Mufti Menk. Now, I believe the second step of that would be to get fearful of Allah as well. Now, the only reason why I say that is because even though God is very loving, because God is just as well, Allah will punish those who deserve it. So what I mean by that was like there came a time, because the only side of Islam or Allah I saw was the loving and forgiving part, I kept on committing mistakes. I kept on repeating mistakes, and then I was like, no, God will forgive me. He's like the most merciful. And I kept on doing those mistakes. I sort of delayed my prayers, even though I prayed them. And like, I've never skipped a prayer. I delayed them as well. I wasn't following like other things of Islam as well. Like obviously being obedient. Um, like according to me, the only thing that made me Muslim was just the prayer, nothing else. So now I believe I'm a stage 2 as well, which is again being fearful of Allah, which then basically means as to how to actually follow it. Like I have to be a proper Muslim the right way. And being fearful, it doesn't really mean that I don't believe that God will not forgive me. It's just so whenever I'm about to commit a sin that I know I'm about to, obviously that I'm going to commit willingly, or if there's something that I'm going to do which is again is not according to the teachings of Islam, I sort of tell myself that no, I will get punished for it. And that again just basically makes me self-aware, and then enables me not to obviously do that sin and just avoid it at like all costs. So as I mentioned, I'm on my second stage, and the third stage, in my opinion, would be like when you become a proper Muslim. It just basically, it's like both a mixture of understanding that God, like that Allah loves you, and to obviously having to fear Him as well, and like mix them both. If a person obviously balances both of them, I believe that's like the last stage, where obviously you know that God loves you, that Allah is the most merciful, that whatever He does, He is doing it in our best interest, because He at the end is the best of planners. And the other side would also think that I don't have to commit any mistake, because if I do, I will have to obviously answer to Allah as well. And basically what I'm trying to say is, because I wasn't in like the greatest state of mind, and like my relationship with my parents, my relationship with Allah itself, and like my relationship with myself, like I wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't really thankful of what I had. But now as I'm like slowly starting to following Islam more and more, I'm getting that sort of happiness which I thought I had lost, the kind of peace that I thought I would never have. And I mean, I do understand with all the shade, like I do understand that obviously in Islam you don't have to like take your beard off. I won't make any excuses, but it was due to a genuine a mistake that was basically made. I won't really go into details, because then again it will come off as an excuse. But then again, I'm really ask God for forgiveness and we move on. But yeah, okay, next video we're gonna have some beard. But then again, yes, apart, like I mean, starting at prayers, let's say if you're like if you haven't prayed at all, start with one prayer, then obviously go to the start doing 2, 3, 4, and then at one point do all 5. I've been doing all 5 for the past 1 year now. It has made me immensely happy. It has changed my life dramatically. Just listen to Mufti Mank, I would say. There's another very good Muslim speaker that's called Hijab. He's amazing. There's a channel called Yusuf Truth, who's amazing as well. So all I would like to say, I mean, my channel is slowly starting to go on to the side of self-improvement. And even though I myself have a long way to go, I still think that I have a plan in place, which obviously I'm following. I mean, if you go to my first few videos, they were all about trading, which obviously I had to leave because of my religion. And I do, again, sometimes think that it was amazing money, but then again, there is nothing on earth that I will obviously exchange for the happiness that I've received once I've started following the perfect religion, again, in my opinion. And all I would say is you don't need any YouTuber, or all I'm trying to say is you don't need any sort of like motivational speaker. The self-improvement journey is it's very, I would say, personal. It's very different for like every individual. For some people, like I used to listen to Hamza before, and people like Andrew Tate, David Goggins as well, and they've taught me a lot of amazing things. I'll be very honest, because some of the, like, some of the things that they have taught has, and after I've obviously applied them into my life, they have made a crazy difference. But if I had to obviously go back in time and tell myself what to do in order to self-improve, I would tell myself to look more into the religion. Try read the Quran. Try read it with translation. Watch YouTube videos around Islam. And again, even if, let's say, you're a non-Muslim who's trying to watch this video, I would still encourage you to actually just go and watch it. Because even though you won't be Muslim, there are some teachings of Islam that you could obviously apply to your life as a non-Muslim that would dramatically and drastically change your life. If I want to obviously sort of like give some key points away, waking up early was a struggle for me, as I mentioned. Ever since I've started waking up early for Fajr, it has made it a lot more easy because now I have a reason why I have to wake up early. Going to the gym in the morning was not wasn't enough of a reason for me to wake up. But my prayer, which is now one of the most important things in my life, I do wake up really easily. Even if, let's say, I miss the alarm, I'll still wake up. Or like in most cases, I'm already up before my alarm even rings, which then again shows me that my body knows when to wake up because it craves it, and it's just do it. It's for the best. That's what I obviously would tell to every Muslim who like watches the video. Every 2 or 3 people that like watch it till the end. Again, I'm really thankful if you obviously take the time out to listen to what I have to say. And again, if there's anything that I could do to obviously help you out, if it's, let's say, if it's related to, let's say, Amazon, maybe, because that's the thing that I really mainly do. Or if you obviously just want someone to have a chat with someone who obviously won't judge and who has basically like an open mind and who again lives in a world or in a country where there's a lot of how would I even phrase it as like a lot of distractions, and obviously how to still stay steadfast in that sort of environment. I mean, I might maybe able to give you some tips, but then again, I wouldn't say I'm a perfect Muslim, but I'm obviously trying to make my way to that very stage. Again, we're just taking one step at a time. But again, that's probably going to be everything that I would like to say for today's video. Again, if there's some key points I would like you guys to actually take away. If you're Muslim, start performing all of your prayers. Trust me, it does make a difference. It isn't hard at all. It is actually mandatory. If you've got 24 hours in a day, can you not just like give an hour with all your prayers combined? Can you not just give like an hour to your Creator? And if you're, I would say, non-Muslim, I would still advise you to like look into some life-changing details. Just listen to like some of the lectures or whatever. See if there's something that you could relate with and sort of imply those teachings to your life. Even though obviously if you don't want to become a Muslim in the first place, I believe you should still try that, because I believe even if you're not non-Muslim, some of the teachings would help you massively. So that would be everything for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope wherever you are, you have the best of health, and you just keep on smiling. That's probably it. Thank you so much.